Hello and welcome back to Football Manager. We have got our next league game to play against Norwich City, a team in real life I am very thankful to say are not going to be a Premier League team. Oh, warms my heart to say that. And if this game follows on with the track Norwich are on, which is rather poor form I must admit, they were up here quite recently. They will be going down in this world as well. So, yeah, let's see if we can help that along. I apologise to any Norwich fans that may watch this at any point, but, you know, rivalry's a rivalry. Nino Jovanovski is back for this game. He is a bit of a fitness, but Jovanovski can play 75 minutes, come off for Dennis Johnson, so that's all fine. Eduardo picked up a knock in the last game, but he's only going to be out for this game. He should be back for the next game, which you won't obviously see, I must admit, but he will be back. Alvaro picking up a few goals in recent games. Louis Barry is as well. Johnson is. Glazen. We're getting the goals up now, which is very nice to see. And in fact, Eduardo is one of our higher goal scorers as a defender, which is impressive in its own right. So we've got Turgeman in goal today with Kelvin, Clark, Tuanzebe and Sahajevic in defence. We've got Doyle and Nato in the midfield with Jovanovski and Glazen as our wingers, with Roberto Lopez sitting just behind Alvaro up front. And we're going into this game knowing that a win could send us into a Europa League place. Not a Europa Conference League, a full Europa League spot. If Man United lose. That's the if. If Man United lose and we win, we are a Europa League currently team. Right, so we should be winning this one comfortably. So if they play the natural game, they'll win the game. It's as simple as that in my mind. So we should be fine. Kelvin now with a very long throw into the box, headed away by Jolinton. Doyle picks it up, and that is a strike and a half. Jesus, Tommy Doyle. I'm glad that didn't miss. You've taken about 4 rows of the crowd out. Jesus Christ. Kelvin with a very long throw in. Jolinton, poor header away. But then Doyle smashes it past the Norwich City goalkeeper to score a fairly well done goal. And I have just noticed there is a traitor amongst the ranks. Tyrone Mings, you evil traitor you, have left Aston Villa, I believe, in the game to go to Norwich City, the sworn rivals of where you began your career. But then again, he might be trying to destroy him from the inside. Don't know yet. Iban Nato now with the ball, trying to draw 2 Norwich players far from their posts, and has done it very successfully. Kelvin now with the ball on the right wing, passes it back to Jovanovski, crosses it in for Alvaro, but his shot is blocked, and then the traitor amongst the ranks clears the ball to Jolinton. Or Jolinton. I don't actually know how to pronounce his name. I think he plays for Newcastle United in real life, but I've never actually worked out how to pronounce his name. It sounds quite bad, but genuinely I've never been able to know. Doyle now with a free kick, swings it in at the far post, and Matthew Clark, first Premier League goal, I believe, in his entire career. I don't think he scored last season. So, yeah, well done Matthew Clark. First ever Premier League goal for that man. And it was a very nice goal. Just put him past Sousa Filippo, I think his name is, or Sousa Fulo. I'll see in a minute when it comes up onto the actual team lists. Sousa Filo, okay? I believe it's probably Portuguese by that name. That's normally a Portuguese part of the name. Elias Sousa Filio. Oh, Brazilian. Well, yeah, Portuguese language, Brazilian, fair enough. Norwich now at the ball. Emil Buendia plays it back to Bell, who does score a very nice strike, akin to Tommy Doyle in the first few moments of this game. But they still sit a goal behind us currently in this match. And I'll ask for some creativity for the last few minutes of this half, see if we can get something that resembles a third goal in this game, and properly stop any chance of a Norwich fight back. But at the end of the first half, it is currently 2-1, and I've just noticed that Man United aren't actually playing today, so they'll have a game in hand, but we will sit in a provisional Europa League spot. I'm going to say it's a great opportunity to show the pundits they've been right to back us up. And I will make one change, being Alvaro coming off for Louis Barry. I think Glazon deserves a second chance in this half. He's got a yellow card, which probably pushed his overall rating down a little bit. So we'll see what happens with that. But with Louis Barry, we'll just passionately say I've got faith in him to make a difference, which has motivated him fairly substantially. Let's demand more, because we are only a single goal up. That's not good enough in the Premier League. Anyone will tell you that. One goal very rarely ever wins you a game in the Premier League. So we do need to make sure we can at least solidify our position. And Tyrone Mings has just picked up an injury. That was not on the order of myself. You've been watching this entire video. I did not order that injury. But it has happened, unfortunately. And he's been come off for, I think it's Jamal Lewis, I think he's been replaced by. Now, Zlatan Sahajovic brings it to the edge of the box, but it's tackled by Ilramendi, I think his name is. Or Ilramendi, however you pronounce it, I'm not too sure. Tuanzebe now plays the ball forward to Doyle, now back to Glazon. Glazon plays it forward to Sahajovic again, this time getting past Ilramendi. Nato now with the ball on the edge of the box to Doyle, back all the way finding Kelvin, very unorthodox and awkward pass back to the right back. But the ball is now played all the way back to the Argentinian in goal, Turgeman, with a very lax pass forward to Tuanzebe, now finding Sahajovic. Nato plays the ball forward to Glazon, who picks it up on the edge of the box, crosses it in, and Louis Barry picks up his 11th goal of the season, giving us a 3-1 lead. And he has picked up a slight knock. I have noticed that. Just for anyone that is watching the video and thinks why I'm not bringing him off, we don't have another striker on the bench. So at the moment it is impossible to bring him off. So we'll have to play through this injury. But I think what I saw come up was something to do with his arm. So I don't think that's a big problem. I'll have a quick look. Oh, potential knee injury. So actually, yeah, it might be a problem. But again, as I said, we don't have another striker on the bench to bring on for him. So there's not a lot we can do. Norwich City now with the ball, playing it around in the midfield. And apparently just ending the highlight in the middle of an attack by the looks of things. Anyway, Jovanovski heads the ball on rather unimpressively. And Sahajovic with a poor header forward finds the Norwich City Cottrell. And what happened? The flag went up. I thought it was offside. The flag went up. What happened? I saw the flag go up. Explain. Explain. His flag went up. I swear his flag went up. Yeah, look. His flag goes up, see? I am so confused. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, that's very annoying. Kelvin there with a very long throw into the box. Onto the header of Jovanovski, but it is over the bar. And we'll ask for some more creativity. And Glazon has, as I mentioned, improved quite well in the second half. I'm going to quickly pause here and make the last two changes of this match, being Iban Nato coming off, because he is actually the current average rating worst on the team so far. And the other change will be Sahajovic, who was admittedly at fault for that last goal, but also he's lacking a bit in condition, so we're going to have to take him off, give him a bit of a breather. And we're just going to say the pressure's off today, just to play the natural game. Hopefully we'll relax them before the game, before they actually go into this match. And we'll try and... Oh, hang on. Doyle's got a free kick. Oh, very nearly a goal. But the Brazilian goalkeeper does stop it from entering into the back of the net. Doyle, though, with a free kick, corner kick, swings it into the far post, but headed away by Norwich City. And then Tuanzebe tries to restart the attack, but it is closed off by Norwich. Norwich play all over the top, headed forward by Tuanzebe, but very wayward. Ooh, Norwich City very nearly completed their comeback with that shot there from Buendia. But with 4 minutes stoppage time left, it is looking very likely that the match is going to finish 3-2. And I will drop a bit of praise, because a win is always a very important result. And yes, we did manage to win. A 3-2 win is very nice to see for our team, for obvious reasons. And I'll passionately say, well done, that was a good win. Because it was a good win. That puts us into a position where when we play Manchester United in a week's time, we will have control over whether or not we can remain in a Europa League spot. Because if we can beat them, regardless if they win their first game in hand, because they have 2 games in hand over us, regardless if they can win both games in hand, if we can beat them, we will be 2 points clear of them. Almost guaranteed. So Josh Smith for Bromley did lose against Chester, unfortunate. Mark Newell lost to Dover, again unfortunate. Halesowen did manage to beat Telford. Hartlepool and Yeovil drew. Crawley lost quite substantially by Lincoln. I think Crawley are relegated now. Kilmarnock lose to Hearts, again unfortunate. Thankfully it's just a week's injury, that's fine. Louis Barry can come back for the Manchester United game, which is going to be very useful. Millwall still a narrow, but we didn't steal that win, we controlled that game. I mean, look at that one, we barely won. But we did very well. And as I mentioned, yes, Kilmarnock lost. QPR lost. Owen Jenkins, our new signing from Stoke City. I believe I showed him off a little bit, but just in case I didn't, he is a new signing from Stoke City. £7.75 million was spent on him. But as you can see, he's got very nice potential as a new centre-back, which we are currently lacking in potential of. Pedersen also losing because he's still out on loan. Jack Coultas picking up his 12th goal of the season for Boston in a 2-2 draw with Plymouth. I believe they're just outside of the playoff places in League One, which is, to me, very impressive. Salford again losing. I think they're actually in the relegation. Although they're not quite in the relegation, but they are in a relegation battle at the very least. Oh, actually, no, they're fairly secure, I think. If they win one game, I think they're actually safe. Yeah, I think 1 win for them and they're safe. So, yeah, ignore me. Wrexham, on the other hand, are promoted last season from the Barham National League. They are in 4th in League 2. They are very nearly able to get themselves automatically promoted to League 1. It just takes 2 wins and a Colchester mess up, and they are in the promotion spots. Then we have the Turkish game for Sebastian Casares. He did draw 0-0. Portsmouth lose 1-0. Aidan Pilbeam, another new player we brought in, I think, in the summer window. He looks fairly good, potential-wise. Could be better, obviously, but yeah, things can be always better. Dennis Tintor with Sutton are already champions. Sutton have already become champions of the Van National League South. They did it a fair while back, to be honest with you. And I think Tintor, with that average rating, did very well for them, and he'll be rejoining them next season. Doyle inspiring a Millwall win, of course, with his goal and his assist, which is very nice. And apparently Cardiff have been looking at Matthew Clark. I was not aware of this. He's not leaving, because we need at least 3 centre-backs, which we only have, barely. And Marco Biagiotti is doing well for Brondby, who I believe are actually, top of the championship group, meaning that unless Arnoud Swerer gets a few goals for Midtjylland, Brondby are going to win that league. And we're going to have a Danish league winner in our ranks. As you can see, A+ match performance. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the last video, but next year is the... I clicked on that, that's not a calendar. Next year is the World Cup. It's 2026. And Wales are going to qualify for that. I'm very certain we're going to qualify for... Hang on a moment. Keep forgetting how it doesn't work like that. Yeah, we're going to qualify for the World Cup because we've got a very easy group. We've got Kazakhstan, Belarus, and the Czech Republic, who we're going to beat quite easily. It's just Italy we're going to lose against. But if we can beat Italy in the return fixture at home, we have a very good chance of getting into that World Cup in 2026. But regardless of whether we do or don't, I am going to resign from my position as Wales manager. Because I don't... oh, pardon me, I do apologise. I don't think I can reach anything worthwhile with Wales as it is so far. There are not enough good Wales prospects for me to be able to do that. So this will be my last full season as a Wales manager going into the World Cup in 2026. I mean, if we don't qualify for it, I'll resign on the spot, simple as that. You know, I'll take my bow quite simply, quite easily. But until then, I will be the Wales manager, and I will try and lay the groundwork for a successful future. But the next video for Millwall will be the final 2 games of the season, Bournemouth and Cardiff. Now, Cardiff, I don't think are fully relegated just yet. No, they haven't gone down just yet. But it means that on the final day, I could be the one that sends them down. Now, Bournemouth could also go down. It'll take a fair mess up from them to do so, but they could. So, I could actually be sending down 2 teams. One on TV, one at home. These will be the last 2 games you'll see of this season, and you'll know in this game whether or not we've got a European position. I'm hoping we will, but as I mentioned, we've got to play 4 of the big 6 in a row, which could see us drop as low as 12th. So, yeah. We're not counting our fish. Not counting our fish, what's it called? What's the saying? Counting our chickens? I don't know what the phrase is. It's counting our animal. Either way, that'll be the next video, obviously. So until then, as I say every episode, I bid thee adieu. Goodbye.